everyone. Welcome. I would love to know where y'all calling in from and what are you sipping on right now? Where y'all calling in from and what are you sipping on right now? I'm sipping on some water without a straw. I love my straws, but I had dental surgery, so that's why I'm a little chipmunky today, but that's okay. We'll deal with a cute little chipmunk today. All right, where y'all calling in from? And what are you sipping on right now? Our way of communicating is through that chat box, and I know that you're there and that you are, because I can't see your beautiful faces, so I get to see you, what you're talking about in the chat box. You're sipping on some water. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you very much. All right, everybody else, go ahead and type in that chat box where y'all calling in from and what beverage are you sipping on right now? Hello and welcome. My name is Tina McDermott and welcome to Tina's Joyful Kitchen. I'm so excited to be here as usual. I love to cook for everybody. And just a smidgen background of me, I have been a health and wellness coach for 20 years. And I've realized that the most important place for me to be is in the kitchen, teaching people how they can prepare foods simple and easy so that they can live a life that's healthy, vibrant, and free. I call myself the lazy inspirational chef. No beverages. Go get yourself a glass of water, Josephina. Okay, there we go. All right. So, hey, let's get started. Let me tell you what we're going to make today. All right. Let me tell you what we're going to make today. We are going to make some Irish paleo stew. We're going to make this beautiful arugula salad with oranges. And then we're going to make a shamrock shake. Say shamrock if you're excited about the shamrock shake. Put shamrock in that chat if you're excited about that shamrock shake. All right, I got 13 of you here. If I get only one response, I am not moving forward until I hear you all put shamrock in that chat box there. Can I get some shamrock from y'all? All right, there we go. Thank you. They're alive. Woohoo! I love it. I'm just fixing something on my computer super quick. And okay, I got a whole bunch of shamrocks. Awesome. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with our paleo, I was going to call it a shamrock stew. We're going to call it an Irish stew. Why Irish? Because if you had some beer in the house, you can put some beer in there. Gluten-free beer if you're paleo, of course. Now, I am going to cook this in my Instant Pot. Why? Because I love my Instant Pot. And I'm hungry. I'm a hungry girl, and I don't want to wait 8 hours for my stew to be done. I want this for lunch today, and it will be done once I put everything in 35 minutes. Now, for those of you at home, how would you make it? Would you be using your Instant Pot, a crock pot, or stovetop? I'm going to advise against stovetop for some stew, though. I'm going to advise against that. Crock pot or the Instant Pot. Now, you can also use the Instant Pot as a crock pot, believe it or not. I haven't yet. So we've got one Instant Pot. We've got 3 crock pots. Good. And what about the rest of the 13 of you? There's 9 more. 9 more of you. How are you going to cook this, if you're going to cook this at all? Again, I'm going to do it in the Instant Pot. And it's the method is similar in a crock pot where you're going to saute the meat. I'm just going to saute it directly in the Instant Pot pan, which is another reason why I love the Instant Pot. Otherwise, you have to dirty another pan on the stove to saute the meat. Now, why do we saute the meat? Does anybody know why we saute the meat? I'm just going to put this on saute. Does anybody know why we have to saute the meat? Somebody put it. I'm very interactive, guys. I'm very interactive. So I need to know that you're there and you're talking to me. Otherwise, it's kind of boring on my end to just cook all by myself. So cook with me. Be with me here. So yeah, to tenderize it. Yeah, to keep it, to lock it. Thank you very much. You guys are expert chefs. There you go. You are hired in my kitchen. Now, I am going to saute the meat in a little bit of coconut oil. Why? Because coconut oil can stand high heat. I don't use olive oil for high heat. Where's my lid? Because olive oil can't stand the high heat. Avocado oil can stand high heat, and there's a couple of others. You got to look on the labels. I love coconut oil. I always have it in my house because I'll use it for things like this, for baking. I put it in my oatmeal, my breakfast cereal, because it's antiviral, antimicrobial, extremely good for you. And I have a kitten at my feet who wants some right now. Crazy, huh? So coconut oil, always keep it in your kitchen. Very important. Now, what I did is I got some stew beef that I urge you, if you're going to buy beef and eat beef, I love beef. Get it grass fed and grass finished. Does anybody know why it's grass fed, grass finished, and why that is better for you? Does anybody know? Put it in the chat. One, if you know and you just don't want to tell me. Two, if you want to know. One, if you know and you just don't want to tell me. If you don't know. Let me see it, guys. Let me see it. So grass fed, grass finished is good. At least one person's grass-fed, grass-finished, because the cows are fed on their natural diet of grass, of different grasses and such, versus any other kind of feed, and corn and stuff. How do you fatten up a cow? Does anybody know how to fatten up a cow? Put in the chat if you know how to fatten up a cow. How you feed them corn. How do you fatten up a human? You feed them corn. Grains and such fatten up a cow. And if grass-fed, grass-finished, then they will also be full of omega-3 fatty acids. So I implore you to get some grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Did I say that enough times? Did I say that enough times? And if you can't find it grass-fed, at least get it organic, okay? Yeah, good to know. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you think it's good to know. All right, so this is my olive oil is my coconut oil is heating up. Now, some people like to coat their beef in a little bit of flour. I don't. I'll add some, what is that called? Agar-agar. Is it agar-agar? No, arrowroot. I'm going to put arrowroot. You could also use tapioca flour. Let me put this in the sink. And I'm going to saute on low. So,
and Tina, how much coconut oil did you use?
I used about 1.5 tablespoons, maybe 2 tablespoons. I'm not shy when it comes to good fats. And by the way, I salted the beef. It was sitting in that container. It was sitting out of the fridge for about 30 minutes. You don't want to put very, very cold meat into a saute, because the meat will seize up and it won't be as good. It won't be as tender. So always let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes and put a little salt on it, and it draws out some of it makes it more tender. Let's put it that way. So we're just going to saute that for just a few minutes, and I'm going to get my onions ready next. Now, has anyone taken my class before? If you've taken my class before, put a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time, put a 2 in the chat. If you've taken my class before, put a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, so a lot of first timers. Fantastic, fantastic. That means, who wants to learn how to cut up an onion without crying? If you want to learn how to cut up an onion without crying, put cry in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to cut it up the way I want it up. Okay, Tanya wants to know. So I'll show you. Ready? You see this onion, and you see there's a little hair here. That is the root that would have gone into the earth. However, you think hair is on the top. And that's the piece that you want to dig out, that they say is supposed to, that makes you cry. That if you take that out, you won't cry as much. Now, go ahead and let a close up on this. And I'm not going to promise you. But what you want to do is you want to get your paring knife, and you want to put it in, and you're basically digging out. I hope you can see that. You're digging out that root bulb. You see that? You're digging that out, and then you're just going to throw that away. Now we're going to get rid of this peel as well, because we don't need this peel. And then I'm going to show you a nice, easy way to cut up an onion without it slip sliding all over the place. There we go. Stay here on this close up.
Tina,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You can also chew gum, and that helps.
Chew gum?
Chew gum while you cut the onion, yes.
Check that out, Phyllis. That's genius. You see, I've never had a problem with crying, but I'm going to use that one, Phyllis. Thank you. Good.
Do you need a partner?
Yes, of course I do. I love partners. Absolutely. So next we're going to do round things. It's round and it can slide all over the place. We need to make it flat. So your knife, and then I'm going to show you also how to hold a knife. Yeah, I've never heard that. Chew gum. I wonder how that helps. Huh. Okay. So now I'm going to score the onion. And again, I'm just going to not cut all the way through. Do you see how I'm just scoring it? Just scoring it. And now I'm going to slice this way. You see how the pieces are together and they're not going to slide on you. Also, I'm gripping. You see my grip on my fingers? I hope you can see this well. And moving the fingers back with each slice. Get your fingers out of the way if you feel like it's going to be slidey. Okay, there you go. There's your onion in little pieces. I'll do the other one super quick. Get that done. And then we're going to cut up the other onion. And I'm going to show you how to hold a knife. Okay. Now, the next thing, who can finish the sentence? Who can finish this sentence? A dull knife is a, who can finish that sentence? A dull knife is a, who can finish it? A bore? A dull knife. I like the bore. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. Yes, a dull knife is a dangerous knife. And you want to make sure that you sharpen your knives. Get them sharpened. Either that or have a honer. Get a honer and hone it. But even when you hone your knife, I don't have my hone available, otherwise I'd show it to you. You still need to get them sharpened at least once a year because a dull knife is a dangerous knife. People think, oh, a sharp knife is dangerous. A dull knife is dangerous. By the way, if there's any mold, just make sure that you cut the mold out. I left the root bulb in because it doesn't bother me, and I'm going to cut the way my mom taught me to. The rest of the onion, I'm not going to score it. I'm just going to do it my way. I'd like to show you the other way, but I'm going to do it my way right now. But as I'm doing that, I want to show you something. Look, I'm just going to be clear with y'all, or be transparent. That's the word. I didn't go to culinary school. I went to the school of Velia. That is my mom, who is off the boat Italian, who learned how to cook not only from the nuns in Italy when she was younger, but when she came to the United States at 17 years old, she learned from my grandmother, who came over to America about 10 years prior. Anyhow, so I learned from my mom. However, I've honed in some of my skills and cooking and the such. Now, one of the skills that I found the most important was how to hold a knife. Okay. Who holds a knife like this? Who holds a knife like this? Many people hold a knife like this, but look what happens when you go to cut. And if the knife slips out, the knife can slip from side to side, possibly cutting you. Okay. So this is how I want you to hold the knife. Here's the handle of the knife. By the way, you want a blade that goes all the way through the handle. Okay. You don't want a blade that stops halfway through the handle because it will break. You need really good knives. Be careful. And this one, the entire handle is all stainless steel. Okay. It goes all the way through. You're going to put 3 fingers on the handle. You're going to put your forefinger right here on this side of the blade. And then you're going to put your thumb on the other side of the blade. You're holding the knife 3 fingers on the blade, on the handle, the index finger on this side, the thumb on the other side. This ring finger butts up against the back of the blade so that when the knife might slide side to side, it's not sliding, okay? It's not going to slip from side to side. Also, a lot of people chop straight down. They chop straight down and they're only using the middle part of the knife, which can dull the knife right there in that one spot. We have an entire blade, a long blade on my chef's knife for a reason. Let's use the entire blade. So I will use the entire blade. You see that? I will use the entire blade. Okay. All right. So I'm still using that same method of gripping, but the onion tends to slide a little bit. The other thing is a lot of people scrape up their onions with their blade. But what did I say? A dull knife is a dangerous knife, and you will dull the knife if you're scraping your cutting board. A little less when it's a wooden cutting board. That's why I changed over from the Pampered Chef plastic ones to all wood to preserve my knives. Okay, I want to preserve my knives so that I don't have any problems, because my dad does sharpen my knives once a year. And it's about that time. I love onions. Can you tell? I put a whole bunch of onions in there. I'm still in the saute mode. And let's throw some garlic in there. Who loves garlic? Put garlic in the chat if you love yourself some garlic. Well, if you love garlic, put garlic in the chat. Put garlic in the chat if you love garlic. Good. Now, here's the real test. Here's the real test. You ready? Do you use jarred garlic? Do you use powdered garlic? Or do you use fresh? Put it in the chat and don't be embarrassed. All answers are okay answers. It's okay. You use jarred garlic, powdered, or fresh? Do you use jarred? Okay. So did you know that garlic boosts your immune system tremendously? It is, again, like the coconut oil, antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial. You need garlic in your life. When the garlic is heated, pasteurized in order to be in the jar on a shelf versus the refrigerator, the high heat destroys most of those properties. Look, I'm not even going to chop the garlic. I'm going to throw it right in because we just need the flavor of it. So I implore you, like I did with the grass-fed beef, to use fresh garlic. It is inexpensive. It is easy to use. Did you see how I did that? Does anyone want me to show them how I peeled that garlic super quick? Does anyone want to see that again? Put garlic in the chat if you want me to see that again. If you want to see that again, by the way, I'm throwing everything into a compost because I want to give back to the earth, right? This was grown in the earth. I want to give back to the earth. So I'm going to get the butt of the knife. Let me show you how I did it. Butt of the smaller knife, the bigger knife, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to smash it. Could you smash it with your palm? Absolutely. But I just didn't want garlic juice on my palm. So then there you go. As soon as you smash it, oh my gosh, that came off really, really easy. I must have, did you see the whole clove? I just smashed the whole clove and a lot of, you can never have enough garlic. I think I put 5 cloves in there already. So here's a piece. You're just going to smash it and then get that harder end piece. That was the part that went into the earth, and peel that. And you see how easy it came off? Super easy. And we get fresh garlic. Woohoo! If you ever find garlic at a farmer's market and it costs $1, $1.50, buy it. It is so amazing. And the difference is just, there's such a difference with this. It's garlic, it's fresh garlic, but it's dried and it's been probably sitting around for, I don't know, 6 months to a year. The one that you can get from a farmer's market is super fresh and super just full of antioxidants and immune boosting properties that your body needs. Okay, what's next in our stew? I know I talk a lot as we're doing stuff, and you could probably move this along a lot faster, but I'm talking, I'm teaching. So we're going to put some tomato paste because we want some tomatoey flavor in our stew. And this is a Pampered Chef can opener. I love this can opener because it doesn't allow the lid to fall into the food, which I think is a little on the gross side, because did you disinfect your lid? Do you know what might have crawled on the top of that lid? Nope, probably not. Most people don't do that. So I'm going to put my tomato paste right in there. If you don't have tomato paste, I'm a big proponent of use what you have, and you have canned tomatoes, chopped tomatoes, throw it in there. Just put less broth in. Okay, just put less broth. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. So we'll put that over there. Use what you have. Use what you have. That's the way I grew up. You use what you have. All right, so I put some tomato paste in there. I'm going to put some freshly ground black pepper. Why do you want to use freshly ground black pepper? Does anybody know? Because it tastes amazing. The difference between the already ground black pepper and freshly cracked black pepper is just phenomenal. I love freshly ground black pepper. And unfortunately, since I had my dental surgery this week, my husband's like, why do you want to use the fine pepper? I said, because it'll get stuck. So I couldn't use this. I was a little upset this week, but that's okay. So I put some freshly ground black pepper. We're just stirring it up. It's on a low saute right now. And I'm going to put some thyme in there. Yeah, I know. We want to put thyme. Such an interesting name, thyme. You want to put about a teaspoon of thyme. Remember I called myself the lazy inspirational chef? Yeah, I'm not very good at measuring. So I kind of, just like my mom, they didn't have measuring tools and stuff. They used their palms, they used their fingers, and then they adjusted the taste as they moved on, right? Now you want to put a bay leaf. And I love the word in Italian for bay leaf. It's alloro. Alloro. I love that word. So put a bay leaf. It just gives it a depth of flavor. Now, as I said, you know, I call myself the inspirational lazy chef. And that's because I want you to use the foods, that not just what you have in the house, but what are you inspired to put in your stew? What's next? What should go next in the stew? I'm going to turn the saute off. I'm going to cancel because, where's my cancel button? There you go. Because I'm going to take a couple more minutes to chop up some more vegetables to put in here. Now, what are the normal vegetables that people would put in their beef stew? Things like potatoes and carrots and such. Now, because I'm making a paleo stew, I'm not going to put potatoes in there. However, feel free to put potatoes in there. I have a problem with sugar, so I don't sugar starchy vegetables and the such. So I stay away from a lot of the starchy vegetables. And I'll make stew, believe it or not. Who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? What is this? This is a radish. And my husband has no clue that I'm not putting potatoes in the stew. He has no clue. Put radishes in your stew if you have a hard time digesting potatoes, or if it's just too much starch, or if you know, have diabetes or are trying to lose weight. Who here has tried cooked radishes in stew? Has anyone tried cooked radishes in stew? No, give it a try. Give it a try. Radishes are okay raw. They're okay raw. They're not my favorite, but cooked, the dynamic and the flavor, the profile is just so different. It's like, is that a radish? I'm telling you, my husband has no clue that I put radishes in the stew. So there's so many other things I'm going to put in the stew, so I'm not going to bother with too many radishes right now, although I like them in my stew. I'm going to put a couple more in there. I'm going to put some carrots. Now, I don't peel my carrots. I wash them. I scrub them with a little scrubby, okay? Because there's a lot of nutrition in the skin. Don't throw away that nutrition. So I'm going to cut up some carrots for us now. And now, remember what I said about round things? You should make them flat. You should make them flat if you're trying to get exact measurements and such. But I'm not too worried about it because in the stew, these big chunks will get a little mushy and they'll be perfectly fine. That was a little too round, too close to my fingers, so I had to make that flat. And then we'll just get rid of the ends there. There we go. Big pieces, not afraid of keeping big pieces with our stew, okay? Now, did you notice that I'm using the entire knife? I'm using the whole knife. Did you notice the whole movement here? Okay. Practice that. Practice that movement and holding the knife that way so that you don't slip and you don't hurt yourself, okay? Does anybody know what this is? Does anybody know what this is? Anybody know? A parsnip. It's either a parsnip or a turnip. Quite honestly, I couldn't figure it out, but that's okay. It's one of the above. So I'm going to make my round thing flat. No, this is a turnip. This is the turnip. This is a parsnip. Turnip. Parsnip. So I'm going to make my round things flat. I'm going to cut it again. Okay, there we go. And I got a little violent with my parsnip. Sorry about that. It's a little too hard to cut, so I was trying to do too many at the same time. Now, why am I using parsnips? Because it imparts really good flavor. And instead of having potatoes in there, we're doing parsnips. Again, same process up until I put the vegetables in. All of that would have been done on the stovetop. And then you would have put it in your crock pot. Because if you put it in your crock pot without browning the meat, it's just not going to have that depth of flavor, and it might be a little on the dry side, and we don't want that. Okay. Same thing with the parsnips. I'm not going to peel them. I'm just going to get off any pieces that I don't want. With the turnip, round thing, what do? Score it, and then get your fingers out of the way. Cut it in half. Round things you make flat. Okay. And I'm going to do nice big chunks. There we go. Looking good. I bet you all want to come over for lunch today, huh? It was always fun when I did these in person because I got to feed people. And as an Italian, I love to feed people. Love, love, love to feed people. All right. I scrubbed these. Remember, I scrubbed them. And now, if you have any questions about not just my beef or my beef stew, but just nutrition in general, feel free. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. As I'm cooking, I could always talk to you about whatever it is that you would like to know. Now, who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? Does anybody know what this is? Does anybody know?
Tina, while you're waiting for that, somebody does want to know what a turnip tastes like.
How do like a watery potato. The best way that I could, and it makes the stew a little on the starchy side. That's the best way I can describe it. But turnips are good. I love to cook with turnips. If you haven't tried cooking with turnips yet, try it. Yeah, it's like a potato, but just a little different, not as grainy of a flavor. So does anybody know what this is? Anybody tell me yet what this is? Ah, good with salt. It's not jicama. Is it close to jicama? Maybe, but not. No, jicama is a little more watery. I think jicama is like a cross between a pear and a potato. A jicama is like a cross between a pear. That's to me, jicama. I like jicama. It's really good. It's crunchy. Maybe pear. Now this is a celeriac. This is celery root. And I'm just peeling off some of the dark pieces, which most of the outside of this is a little on the dark side. I don't like it, so I'm just going to peel that. This is celery. This is the bulb of celery in the ground. Celeriac is what it's called. And you know, you want a stew that is not the plain old potatoes and carrots and celery. Use celeriac, use the parsnips, use the turnip, and it just gives it this different flavor and a little thicker, richer kind of flavor. Okay. Round things, what do you do? What do you do when you got round things? Tell me, put it in the chat. What do you do when you got round things, people? What do you do? I want to make sure that you guys, rutabaga, is that what you said? Rutabagas are awesome too. Make them flat. Thank you. Yes, we make them flat. Round things, we make flat. Now, again, because I'm going to cook this in the crock pot or the Instant Pot, I'm not too worried about getting flat, small pieces. I'm not worried about that at all. If you were cooking this on the stovetop, I would make these pieces a lot smaller. Now, because I've got 2 parsnips and it's supposed to go in my soup, I'm just going to put them in. Did you notice how I tightened up on my fingers? Always tighten up on your fingers. You don't want them to get in the way as you're slicing harder vegetables, okay? Who here has a nice chef knife? Who here has a nice chef's knife? Put chef's knife in the chat. Put chef in the chat if you have a nice chef's knife. And I would think a parsnip is like a potato and a carrot mixed. But I don't know. Everyone has different flavors and such. And I can tell you I cannot bite into it right now because of my dental surgery from the other day, to give you a better explanation of it. Okay, you need one. Yeah, get yourself a chef's knife. I have a couple of them. My other chef's knife, let's see if I have it right here. I have a wooden butcher block in there that's laid sideways that I can put my knives in. And this is another one that I got from Pampered Chef, believe it or not. And no, I didn't get it from Pampered Chef. I got this one and a whole set from Tupperware. Yeah, it was from Tupperware, and these were rated some of the best knives. Some of the best knives, they're really up there. And I love this because the tang goes all the way through, and the handle is rubber. So there's no slippage. Even if you mess up and hold here, well, you could have slippage, but it's a stickier handle. And I should have used this knife because it's a little heavier with those heavier vegetables. I normally use my heavier knife. My stainless steel knife is a little on the light side, but I should have used this one for all of those vegetables. All right, what's next in our stew so that we can get this going? Well, it is going, but we need some more things in there. We're gonna put some broth. Now, the meat and the potato, not the potatoes, all the vegetables will impart a lot of juice and make a real thick stew. In your crock pot, you can put a couple of cups of, you can put a gluten-free beer in there if you wanted to make it truly Irish. We don't drink in this house. So also, I like my stews very liquidy. It's not really a stew. And of course, now I'm going to have to put this in the blender in order to eat it. But I like it really liquidy. So I'm going to put 4 cups of a bone broth in there. Does anyone know why bone broth is really good for you? Does anybody know why bone broth particularly is really good for you? Does anybody know why bone broth is particularly good for you? Does anybody have an idea out there why bone broth is so good? Okay. Bone broth is full of collagen that is necessary for your tendons, your ligaments, your skin, as well as your gut. It lines the coating of your gut, and it really helps protect your body and nourish your body. So if you are 45 plus, use bone broth. Also go organic with your broths, and you are guaranteed not to get MSG. MSG is one of those things that destroy your brain cells, basically. So you need to make sure that you go organic with your broths. Now, this is my Instant Pot lid. And if you see this plastic liner, I always take it off and wash it thoroughly and wash my lid thoroughly and let it dry before I insert it back. So right before using it, I always insert that plastic liner. Also, I have a different liner for different foods. For soups and stews, I'll use this one. And then I have a blue one for fish, and I have another one if I'm going to do baked goods in the Instant Pot. Okay, which I really haven't used that one yet. Okay, there we go. We got our lid. If you're in a crock pot, put the broth in, stir it up a little bit, put the lid on, cook it for 4 hours on high, 8 hours on low. And towards the end, let me turn this on first because I'm going to do this for 35 minutes. There you go. Now, when this is done, I'm going to let the pressure release naturally. If I'm going to do a quick release, I will use a dishcloth and pull that over with a dishcloth and move my hand away. Otherwise, you will burn yourself on the steam. So use a dishcloth to do that. But I'll let that release naturally, which takes, so it's about, let me put it this way. To come up to pressure is probably going to take 20 minutes, maybe a little less because it was hot in there. And then it will cook for 35 minutes. And then it will take a good 15 minutes for that pressure to release naturally. So Instant Pot isn't necessarily always less time, but it's less time off. You don't have to sit there and stir it, kind of like a crock pot, but it's a little quicker than a crock pot. Now, when it's done, and the steam has released naturally, I'll put a couple of tablespoons of arrowroot in there and stir it around it and make it really thick if you want it thicker. It's not necessarily, you don't have to use the arrowroot. And if you do, you can make it real thick. And again, it would have been thicker if I didn't put all of that broth in there, but I like the broth. And remember, the world is your oyster. Use whatever you like, right? Well, use whatever you like. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you the finished product of that, but you'll have to just get the idea. And now it's leave it. And when it's done, I'll put the arrowroot in there, stir it around, and then serve it with a little bit of fresh parsley. Does anybody know why parsley is so good for you? Does anybody know why that you want to eat parsley all the time? My mom always had parsley growing in our tiny little garden when we lived in the city growing up. Why? Because parsley helps to clean your liver, but it also detoxify your liver, but it also cleans your palate. So it's really nice to, they put it as a garnish on a lot of our plates when we're eating out. Eat the garnish, guys, because it's really good for your liver. So you want to serve this soup with a little bit of chopped up parsley. You can serve it with a dollop of sour cream if you'd like. You can just serve it with a dollop of olive oil on the top and a little extra salt. All right, who here loves stew? Who here is going to make this specific stew? Who's going to make this particular stew? Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to make this stew, or a 2 if you're going to use your own recipe. Put 1 if you're going to use my recipe, 2 if you're going to use your own recipe. 1 or 2, guys, 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. Let me see if you guys are alive and well and with me here. Good, 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 good. Are you guys having fun? Put fun in the chat if you guys are having fun. If y'all having fun, put fun in the chat. If y'all are having fun, put fun in the chat. All right, good. Good, good, good. Next, we're going to go and we're going to make a salad. Now, who likes nuts on their salad? Who likes nuts on their salad? I love nuts on my salad. Who loves nuts on their salad? Put nuts in the chat. There you go. Good. Now, again, the world is your oyster. This particular salad calls for some chopped up almonds, right? I put all my nuts in jars. But why not use some sunflower seeds? What about pumpkin seeds? What about a mixture of all of them and put those on your salad? Why not? Now, you can toast these in a frying pan, or you can simply toast them in a toaster oven. So this is my Peter Lagasse toaster oven, and this is my Pampered Chef stoneware. I love cooking on stoneware because I feel like a cave woman. I just love it. I love it. Whoopsies. And I'm going to toast using my little pan let's just do a little bit of, we'll do a little pumpkin seed too in there. Put a little pumpkin seed in there. You could toast them all at once, but I think that they taste so good when they're right out of the toaster and you throw them into your salad. But if you want, you can toast all of them all at once and then put them into one big jar. My sister does that, and she puts garlic powder and onion powder and all of that business in there. So I'm going to put this right in the toaster oven, and I'm going to hit toast. I'll be right back. Okay. All righty now. There we go. And that should be done in just a few moments. In the meantime, we're going to put our salad together. Who likes arugula? Put arugula in the chat if you like arugula. Put no in the chat if you don't like arugula or have never tried it. If you like arugula, you can't what? Phyllis, what do you mean you can't? Okay. If you can't have nuts, try the sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds, if you can't do nuts, do sunflower seeds. Or you could also do sun butter, which is like a peanut butter, but made with sunflower seeds. It's wonderful. Arugula, 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 arugula. I love arugula. It's one of my favorite lettuces. It's on the bitter side. And when you have the bitter lettuces, they're better for your liver. Bitter is good for liver. Okay, same thing. Parsley is a tiny bit on the bitter side. But parsley, what is this? Arugula is very good for your liver. Now, you can do an entire salad full of arugula. Me and my family, we love it. My husband hates it. Or you can get this, there's a mix that's baby spinach and arugula, baby arugula. The baby arugula is less pungent than the adult arugula. It's very, very, very bitter. And I love it still. I love it. But the baby is if you're trying to just get started with some arugula. So when you're doing any salad, always start with your lettuces and put the lettuces on the bottom of the bowl. Okay? Start with your lettuce, put the lettuce on the bottom of the bowl. And no, do not dress a salad unless you are ready to eat it. Okay, so I'm only going to put a little bit in here. And let's see, what else are we going to put in our salad? I'm going to put some radishes in the salad. And who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? Anybody know what this is? Put it in the chat if you know what this is. This is a mandolin. I love my mandolin because it's really tedious to slice all of your vegetables. This is my glove to make sure that I don't like slice my fingers off, because, you know, who wants their fingers in their salad or pieces of their fingers in their salad? I don't. I like my fingers. So I'm just going to use my mandolin. Oops. I have to finish one piece before I do another piece. Oh, well, a couple pieces get on the counter. I like radishes when they're sliced thin. I don't like a whole radish to bite into. As much as I like bitter, I find radishes super bitter. Okay. Uh-oh. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Oopsies. Oopsies. All right. I got more on the counter than I did on my bowl. Look at that. Good thing my counter's clean. We'll just put them right in that bowl. Uh-oh. I had a radish that wasn't good. Look at that. Or part of it. It's all right. We'll just get rid of those pieces. Always check your vegetables, because you never know. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, who likes oranges? And who would have thunk to put oranges in a salad? Who would think to put oranges in a salad? But why not? You can do any kind of fruit. What's your favorite fruit to put in a salad? What's your favorite fruit to put in a salad? What's your favorite fruit to put in a salad? Put it in the chat. I love strawberries in a salad. I love blueberries in a salad. What else do I love in a salad? Oranges on occasion. I'll put oranges in a salad on occasion, and those are they are lovely to put in a salad. And the recipe calls for 2 oranges. I would probably just put 1, and then some strawberries. I guess I am. Pomegranate seeds. Oh, apple. Oh, apples are nice in salads too. Apples are very nice in salads. Okay, so I'm just going to use my fingers to finish peeling all of this, and then we'll give that peel right back to Mother Earth, right in my compost pile. Do you know in Italy, they are mandated to compost anything that is umido, anything that is wet. Even if they don't garden, they have to dig a hole on their property somewhere and put all of anything that is like fat, anything that is moist, that has to go into the hole that they dig. Isn't that crazy? So I am just making big slices out of this. I'm not going to go crazy with the pith or anything. I'm just going to chop it up and throw it right into my salad. Don't make things too complicated with recipes. And if you don't like oranges, put whatever else that is that you like in your salad. There's a book that I read many years ago called The Flavor Point Diet. Like, your body wants all of these flavors all at once: the umami, the sweet, the savory, sour. What else? There's another one that I'm missing that is not coming to my mind. Somebody help me here. But your body wants all of those flavors in one meal. So if you're missing one of those flavors, so you don't put fruit in your salad, you're going to want something sweet afterwards. But if you put the sweet right in your salad, I bet you, give it a try. Give it a try. I bet you anything that you will not have a problem. You won't want all the sweet afterwards. So put your sweet in your salad. Good tip, huh? Now, this recipe also calls to put a little bit of cinnamon on top, because my sister is going to be eating this salad, because I can't. She doesn't like cinnamon, so I'm not going to do that. Okay? But the world is your oyster. Do what you want. How do you get more juice out of a lemon? You roll it. How do you get more juice out of a lemon? You roll it. Because I'm going to make a little bit of a dressing for you here. Now, you can simply just put salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar right on top of the salad. But if you want to do something a little different, then you're going to make a little bit of a different dressing. And we're going to squeeze the lemon. It's about a couple tablespoons of lemon, but let's not measure. Let's just do a whole lemon. Let's put a whole lemon in there. And that's 3 to 4 tablespoons, depending on how juicy and how big your lemon is. So just put it all in there and we will adjust for taste later. Who loves lemon on their salad? My husband's a fan of balsamic vinegar. He drinks the vinegar at the bottom of the salad bowl. He's that crazy about balsamic vinegar. So for Christmas, my sister and I and everyone gets him balsamic vinegar, the really expensive aged stuff. And then he drinks that stuff. Unbelievable. Unbelievable he is. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of honey. I like to get the raw honey because, like the same discussion with the garlic, the immune boosting properties in the honey has not been heated out. You want the heat in there. We're going to put a little bit of salt and pepper in here. I use sea salt. I use some sea salt. Who uses sea salt? Put sea salt in the chat. Put sea salt in the chat if you use sea salt. Sea salt is so much better for you than the sodium chloride and the processed salt because it's not processed. It's got all the minerals that nature has provided for us right in the salt, and our bodies need that salt. So we're going to whip this up, and as I am whisking, I'm going to pour in my olive oil because it emulsifies it. Just makes it a little more thicker and creamier of a dressing. It emulsifies it. Yeah, sea salt. I like the Himalayan, the pink sea salt. Does anybody have a favorite sea salt? Does anybody have a favorite sea salt? Almost done here, almost done. Then we're gonna make our shamrock shake, which we whip up in just a second. So there we go. We have our dressing, and right before you eat your salad, you're going to just pour a couple of tablespoons of your dressing. In the meantime, you could always keep this in a jar, an airtight jar in the refrigerator, and just use a few at a time. The other thing that I do is, I do a whole series on this, is salads in a jar. I'll put the dressing at the bottom, and then I'll put vegetables that can marinate on top of the dressing, like even the radishes, and then put a protein in there, hard-boiled eggs or chicken, and then put the lettuce up at the top. And when I'm ready to eat it, I'll shake it up and have my salad in a jar. Okay, so again, since I'm not going to be eating this, I'm not going to put the salad dressing on there. And you don't want to, not until it's ready. So there you go. You have our beautiful salad. And remember, change it however you want. Put whatever you want in there. You do not have to follow recipes to the T. Okay, recipes are like a roadmap. You don't have to go exactly the route. You can take the northern route, the southern route, the middle route to go to California. You don't have to take whatever route that somebody said you had to take, right? Okay, so let's make a shamrock shake. You guys ready? I'm going to put some things away here so I have a little bit of room. And then we're going to shake, shake, shake. Oh, I almost forgot. I almost forgot. The toasted nuts. I'm telling you, you just put it on toast in the stone. The stone, for the most part, you won't burn things on here, and you don't have to stir things up because it heats evenly. And I almost forgot, you're going to put those seeds right on the top of your salad there. Okay, let's put this away. Shamrock shake time. Shake time. Let me just move some things out of our way. By the way, if you have a wooden chopping board and you don't want it to slide all over the place, put a wet towel underneath it. And that will prevent it from sliding on you because you don't want to slide. You definitely do not want to slide. Okay, now I am going to make our shake using a Vitamix. You do not need a Vitamix. You can use an immersion blender, one of those stick blenders. You can use whatever blender you have. What blender do you all use? What blender do you all use? Put it in the chat. What kind of a blender do you all use? Put it in the chat. What kind of blender do you all use? Use a bullet, okay. I've been using this Vitamix. I think it's 13 years old, this particular one. And yep, I've been using it for 13 years. I love smoothies, especially with the dental surgery. Everything is smoothies for me. And even my soups I make in here. And we'll use this. We probably use it at least once a day for the last 13 years, sometimes 2-3 times a day between my husband and I. And I do a whole series on making smoothies, but this particular smoothie is for St. Patrick's Day. So we're making a Shamrock Smoothie. Let me bring over some of our ingredients. And I am going to start, where's my can opener, with some coconut milk. I get the organic coconut milk from a can. And you know what? If you don't want to use the coconut milk from a can, use some almond milk. And if you're not dairy free, then use regular milk or use water. Feel free, use water. I personally want the calories and the immune boosting properties from the coconut right now. So I'm going to make a huge smoothie that will last me for a couple of days. I need to get a spatula. Give me a second. With the coconut oil. Okay, so you can follow the ingredients or you can follow the recipe, and I think it's only like a half a cup, but I'm going to use the whole thing because I'm going to make a double smoothie here. Got that? Okay. Who here likes smoothies? Put smoothies in the chat if you like smoothies. Put smoothies in the chat if you like smoothies. Put smoothies in the chat if you like smoothies. You can put a little bit of ice in here. I'm not going to bother with the ice right now, though. And you're going to put half an avocado, but I'm going to put the whole avocado in here. I'm going to put the whole avocado, and I'm going to show you how I do my avocado, how I open up the avocado, okay? So you're going to score the avocado. This is a very ripe one, and I hope that it's a good one, but I have one in the fridge. You never know. Every once in a while, you get one that is bad and you had no clue. This one's got a little bit of black spot, so I'm just going to cut that off and give it back to the earth. You can hear that steam at the Instant Pot is coming to pressure. It's not completely pressurized yet, but it's coming to temperature. So I'm going to score it. You see how I'm just scoring it with my knife? You don't have to score it. I score it all the time because I'm going to put it on salads, but if I'm putting it in right into a smoothie, it doesn't have to be scored. There's some pieces of this that are not good, so I'm just going to take a look around it. Give me a second. Throw that out. In retrospect, I should have scored this and put it in a plate before putting it right into my blender here. That's okay. This half is good. This half is good. This half doesn't have all of those bruises on it. So what I should have shown you, I didn't get a chance to show you, is you hit it with the knife and then you twist it and then the pit comes out. Sorry, I was concerned more about the black stuff that was on there. Okay, so let's see. We got avocado in there. We're going to put a little bit of vanilla extract. I love this organic vanilla extract. There's also this bourbon extract that I love. So that's about a teaspoon in there. Put a teaspoon in there. This is mint from my garden, some fresh mint. If you love mint, put it in there. It gives it that fresh minty taste. And I'm going to put a couple of them in there. Who plants mint in their garden? If you put mint in the chat, if you plant mint in your garden, if you do, be sure to put it in its own pot. Otherwise, it's invasive and it invades everything. Do you know that this mint wintered over? I was able to get mint all winter long from that one plant. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some kale in there. This is some kale that I had in my fridge that needs to be cooked. This is kale from my garden that loves the winter time, loves the cold, and it's coming to an end. So I've got to eat it. I got to pick it and eat it. And I throw the stems and everything right in there. This one's going to make a little purple because that's a purple kale. And now you can put a little bit of stevia. You can put anything that's a little sweet in here. You can put some fresh fruit in here. When I make my smoothies, they're different all the time. Now, because there's not a ton of protein in there, and I like protein in my meals, remember we were talking about bone broth earlier, right? This is a bone broth protein powder. So I'm going to put a little bit of the bone broth protein powder in there because the more collagen you get in your body, the better off you are. This one's ancient nutrition, just in case anybody wants to know. Ancient nutrition. So I've got a liquid, I've got a lot of fat in there, which is good for you. I've got a protein, and I've got a lot of vegetables and some mint. Now, if you want to put, what other fruit would you put in here? Anybody know what fruit would you put in here? If you had your druthers, what other fruit would you put in your Shamrock shake? What would you put in there? An apple. I was thinking the apple too. Let's put an apple in there. I think an apple would be good. I've got some apples back here. Make sure it's washed. And this, because I filled it up, will make at least 2.5 smoothies that I can eat for breakfast, I can eat for lunch, I could eat for dinner if I want to, now that I'm eating everything that is, blended. So I even leave the seeds in there. I don't care about the seeds. They'll get blended up. Does anyone see my lid? Here we go. Okay. Now, as I'm going to mix this up, It'll take me about less than a minute. I want everyone to type in the chat, what did they find most valuable about our time together today? What did you find most valuable about our time together today? What did you find most valuable about our time together today? What's that one thing that you're going to take away? I'll be right back. That's fantastic about the bone. I'm so glad you learned about the bone broth. So good for you. 45 plus bone broth. I do it in, you could just eat collagen that they make as well, but I like the bone broth protein powder. So there we go, our Shamrock shake. Look at the pretty green. Look at the pretty green of that. I could have put cucumbers in here. I could have put strawberries in here. I bet you it's going to be really good with the apple. Let's give that a taste. Now, Caitlin is going to put in the chat. I have a free gift for everybody. Caitlin's going to put in the chat the free gift, and that's my ebook called The Joyful Gut. And it's all about the secrets of how you can have a happy tummy, live a life that's healthy, vibrant, and free. And then join my Facebook group as well. I also do a cooking show on YouTube. She can put that link in there too. All right, good, very good. Thank you so much. Now, how long should 5 days, 5 to 7 days. It's delicious. This is so full of wonderful calories, as well as phenomenal nutrition that your body needs. You know, kale has so much more nutrition than spinach does. Don't quote me on it, but I would say it's like 100 times more nutrition than spinach does. So this is super uber amazing health in a jar, and it's delicious, especially with that protein powder that sweetened with a little stevia. Oh, just amazing. There you go. We have our, is there a secret to keeping blueberries from going like Jell-O? I don't understand. You mean in the smoothie, Tanya? Do you mean in a smoothie going like Jell-O in a smoothie? When I don't wash them, first of all, don't wash them until you're about to eat them, okay? If you so happen to wash them, then put them in a, have you ever used those baggies? I'll show you these baggies. They're Keep It Fresh Farmer's Secret bags. I would put them in one of these baggies with a bunch of paper towels or napkins to absorb any of the liquid. Okay, and that will keep them fresh. Does that make sense? That will keep them fresh. Or put them in another bowl and put paper towels. It's the moisture that will make them go bad. So if you can eliminate the moisture, and these bags also eliminate the ethylene gas from getting to them, okay? All right, thank you so much, everyone. Again, if you want to be part of my tribe, download my Joyful Gut ebook guide that I wrote for you. Be part of my tribe, and I just want to say thank you from the top to the bottom to my entire heart. Thank you for being here and interactive. You guys have been so much fun and interactive, and thank you again, and namaste. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye for now. Cheers. Cheers.